As you all are walking the shelter in place walk, and in that scenario, I know many of you are working from home. Do you have the conversation in your head or in your home around this working from home really works for me? I see opportunity to use my talents differently because of how much more productive I can be. Well, that's what we're talking about today. Hello and welcome. I'm Charlotte Volsch, and I'm joined today by my friend and author Tamara Doris, who is an author of several books. I think it's 21 now. The most recent being Mind Over Matter. And Tamara, right here, Tamara is an author, as I mentioned. She speaks at various events, has a list of accomplishments that I will share at the end. And she's done an amazing job helping and working with people to break through limiting beliefs. But I wanted to share with you around how we met and what my expectations were on meeting her. And I met Tamara through a dear friend, Cindy Hayden, who's on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. We've been friends and collaborated over the past 14 years on being our best selves and elevating ourselves to our highest versions so that we can connect with people at the best level, the people in our lives and in our business. And my expectation on meeting Tamara was that she would be a catalyst to help me in my propulsion of living at my best and serving those around me, that because I would be more awake to what their needs are and just more awake to opportunities around me. And what's been most memorable in my knowing her is that today she would join me. And Tamara's very busy and very involved and very high demand. And the fact that she would join me today and give tools to the people in my world and across the country to introduce you to an opportunity to plug into her wisdom. So, on that note, I just want to welcome Tamara. Thank you so very much again for being here. And when I asked you to join me, I was looking at what insights you have for someone exploring the pathway of reinvention at this time.
Online like this and getting together and still having community. And it depends, I'm not sure with your crew here what the different professions are, but there's always opportunities. In that downtime, you can also meditate on creating a new invention that's really going to be time appropriate for what's going on right now. So does that kind of answer your question?
Yes, totally. And I think that you've kind of introduced the fact of how do you get to that by using that think time that you have right now. And so I'm just wondering, on that path you've always shared with me about manifestation and how that process, I just know that weaves into the think time of having come out of that a reinvention. That manifestation is what is the kryptonite, if you will, to that whole process evolving before it gets snuffed out by, we're living in close quarters with the people closest to us. And sometimes I've discovered that when a bright idea comes up, or when your true self knows that self could do this, and you say it out loud, sometimes the people closest to you can pour the ice cold water over the refrigerator right over the top of you, and you go, yeah, you're right, I can't do that. So if you could explore and expand a little bit on how you can maybe turn the pilot light up to simmer as you're going through this, so it doesn't just get discarded.
Well, and that's a really good point. In fact, I just 10 minutes ago just got off a coaching call, And this particular person was talking about the challenge with the person they're living with. And which is exactly kind of what you're saying. And it's like in this time right now where we're all in our houses, all of a sudden we're like, wait, I'm married to you? Who are you? Because we're coming and going all the time, right? Or kids or whatever.
Right.
And so my answer is, we can never, ever, ever create in anyone else's reality. But when we create in our reality, the best version of ourselves, everyone around us changes too. You know, my friend Wayne Dyer, the late, great Wayne Dyer, wrote a book called I'll See It When I Believe It. And so it's so amazing to me how many of us, and I'm guilty of this too, I'm not excluded from it, but we try to say that it's this person's fault, or this person ruined my mood, or this person did this. And it's never, ever about people that are around us. It's always about how we respond to the people around us. And so it's entirely possible to have peace, prosperity, creativity, joy, even if you're locked down in a house with someone who drives you batty. If you focus on yourself instead of trying to focus on changing other people.
That's such a great point, Tamara. And something that I've discovered is, and I've conveyed this to several people that I've spoken to through this time of working in home with family all together now, is having me time. And you need to have that. Maybe you need to have 3 servings a day. And even if it's only 10 minutes,
right,
it allows you to recalibrate, to reconnect with that soul self, to what your possibilities are. And then you can go back out and do whatever you're doing. Maybe it's work from home. Maybe it's interacting with your family. Maybe it's helping with the kids' homework a little bit. And then come back and refuel again. It doesn't have to be hours. It's just a 10-minute splash. And then poof, it's like you're totally rejuvenated and back at it again. So maybe you can expand on that a little bit of how, how that kind of, for me, keeps that pilot light up to simmer again.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you said it very eloquently, but at the end of the day, we are on autopilot. And we're just, we drive on autopilot. We go here on autopilot. We read the mail. We are on Facebook. Everything is autopilot. And it's just like stopping. Now we have no choice. And so you have to stop when you pet your cat or your dog. I'm not trying to leave anyone out there, but when you pet your pet, you have the time. You make eye contact with your animal and you're like, hi, how are you? And that's something I feel that we should be doing every day. And like you said, it only takes a minute or two. But the biggest challenge, and I mean, I'm putting myself out on a limb, and I'm just going to say, in all of my research and books and, I've interviewed so many authors myself. The biggest challenge I see with manifestation, because manifestation isn't hard. The biggest challenge is people don't ground enough. They don't ground enough, so they're not even in contact with that higher version of themselves. They're on autopilot, and it's really impossible to connect with the quantum field. Not to get too sciencey here, but it's really impossible to connect if we're not grounded and we're not inside our own bodies. And I think we've just become a society where we're just so fast paced and so technologically absorbed that, we've just lost touch with that part of ourselves that can manifest really pretty rapidly.
Yeah, I think you said it well. We're kind of up here hovering instead of coming way down to connect. And the connection is kind of like planting a seed. You got to get the roots growing. And not otherwise, it blows away in the wind because there's nothing holding ground tightly there.
Absolutely.
So I know that you gave us this gift of time and you have things to do, but I was just curious if anybody with us has a question that Tamara could maybe answer or give you a little more insight to at this time. If you could just raise your hand, we'll unmute you and give you an opportunity here. Mary, okay.
Okay, how's that?
That's perfect.
By the way, I did see that this is the new way to say hi and shake hands. Thank you, Charlotte, for putting this together, and Tamara, really enjoying your insight. It's interesting because I've worked 40 years in the telecom industry, just recently retired, and going through this, you really are forced with downtime. And with downtime, you get to really think about a lot of things that you're missing, that we get into a routine where we're tactical and not really strategic. And I love this. I think more and more individuals, and I'd love to hear what the rest of the group thinks for themselves, but I think more and more individuals are going to say, I want that. I want that balance. Now that I have it, I'm not willing to go back to where I was. So I wanted to just get your response. Are you hearing that? And then if the others want to join in, I'd love to hear what their thoughts are.
Absolutely, Mary. Nice to meet you. Hi. I 100% agree. I think I know personally we'll never go back to the way things were. Now, I'm not saying some of it won't take some adjusting, and you know, of course, we have absolute empathy for people who were devastated or, you know, sick during this whole thing or lost people that they loved. But at the end of the day, when it's all cleaned up, I believe that we are moving forward and that people are going to do, as you said, like, wow, I like to have this downtime, or maybe we should definitely have dinner as a family. And I also think that I always go back to the, I can't remember the name of the book, but where someone interviewed people that were on their deathbed, people in hospital. And it's really true. Many hundreds of people who have been interviewed who were on their deathbed said, you know, it wasn't about, I wish I worked more hours at the office, or I wish I made more money, or I had a bigger house. It's always about, I wish I took more risk. I wish I spent more time with people I love, and I wish I just had more fun. And so I think this whole epidemic is causing us to reach that conclusion without, thank goodness, having to be in hospice. So I do think that this is moving forward is going to give people a whole different take on their future and what they're going to do with their lives.
I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why, you know, I was connecting with you on reinvention, because that's, you know, that it grows out of this incubation time.
Right. Absolutely.
Anybody else have a question that they'd like to share? Hey, Jim.
I couldn't agree more with what you guys are talking about. I wanted to just let you know that I don't think I'm going to be going back to even close of what I was before as well. Some of the things in my life will change forever. Like probably no gym. Church is going to change forever. My Toastmasters is going to change forever. I'm going to become a Zoom master, and then by referral only. You guys, some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Last but not least, time with family, and then also with clients and friends. The way that is going to happen and go down is changing as well. So this whole thing for me is all about change. And I'm going to be working at home like probably 90% of the time now, instead of 90% at the office. I'll be working out of home. That's something that kind of manifested to me yesterday with some deep work that I did yesterday. So thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate this, you guys.
Well, thank you for joining us and sharing your insights. I had a thought that just went out of my head. It'll come back. But was there anyone else that wanted to ask Tamara a question or share from what you've just heard? Hey, Joan.
Hi there. Thanks, Charlie, for inviting me. And thank you I love the faces here too. I have a question, Tamara, about Imagine That. I really like the book.
Thank you.
And I'm a newbie when it comes to still meditation. Mm-hmm. How do you try to avoid getting all those thoughts when you're trying to meditate? Because I still have a lot of thoughts that come in and out, and I'm trying to be more like have that clear meditation phase, but I get a lot of thoughts when I do meditation.
Right. And you're not alone. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I keep writing the books. The easy answer is we have to look at when we have a busy brain. It's always brain waves. Our brain waves, when they're in high beta, you could sit there for an hour and try to meditate and you won't be able to. Forgive the dogs. Prime just came, so you understand. Anyway, your brain waves, when they're going really crazy, you can't meditate. So that's the reason in the books that I recommend using headphones. I don't have a pair here, but use headphones with the brain entrainment music, and that will help still your brain waves and cause you to get into an alpha brainwave. Now, when you're in an alpha brainwave, it becomes entirely possible to meditate. So people who've told me I can't meditate no matter what, it's because your brainwaves aren't settled down. So the quick answer is work on the brainwave relaxation. You can do a couple yoga moves, you can do some deep breathing, but I really find a lot of solace in the headphones. I hope that helps.
What kind of music are you referring to for the headphones?
So if you look on YouTube, you can find lots of free music. You could just do deep meditation music, but what I like are either binaural beats, and it's actually in Imagine That. I talk about binaural beats and I talk about isochronic beats, and I explain the brainwaves. So just kind of go over that section again, and it'll walk you right through it, and you can do it free on YouTube and get going. Because I'm going to tell you, nothing will help you manifest more than a calm brain. Nothing. There's nothing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for reading.
I actually like how you specifically had the dogs come in to show how the interruption in the brain works.
I pay them for this. I'm like,
you
guys, start
did a
barking.
great job, because that's exactly how the brain works. It's got all that chatter going on until you can calm it down. That's just really well said. Anyone else have a question or? No? Okay. Well, I just wanted to let you know that Tamara speaks at various events. She holds workshops. She's a coach. She's an amazing person. And she has written a gazillion books, as she's mentioned, her most recent one being Mind Over Matter. See, I can't keep that in my head, Tamara. But you can visit her at tamaradoris.com. She also has a free Facebook group called the Intention Academy that gives out updates, inspirations, announcements, and videos. So just know that you can connect with her there. And do you have any parting words and thoughts for us, Tamara?
No, thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it, Charlotte. I would just say to all of you, even though I don't have the opportunity to talk to each one of you separate, is that it sounds to me that you're on the right track and that you are reinventing yourselves. I don't know if it's 100% about change as much as it is about adapting and evolving to a greater, better place, which I know we will all be as soon as this is over. It's just going to take some time to get there.
Very true. So feel comfortable reaching out to Tamara if you'd like to have some coaching or more insights around the manifestation